he watched NYCFC fans fight over firing Ronnie Dyla, like literally fighting with up fans because they wanted Dyla out.
¿Qué pasa, mi gente? We are back. It feels like it's been a break, but I don't. It's kind of like hit or miss. Kind of like
Yeah, no, it's not the break yet. The break is coming up.
It's coming up, but it just feels like one of those where like you get a little taste of something. And it's like, oh shit.
We're the only ones that obeyed the FIFA International window.
Exactly. Oh man, what's good, everybody? Yo, it's that YCLC Forever podcast, and as y'all know, we on a mission to some numbers. So if y'all haven't already, hit subscribe, share the pod, all the links, give them all the likes. It helps out. So we're on the road to 1,000. We're at like 5 and some change now. We want 1,000 by the fall. 1,000 YouTube subscribers by the fall. So help us out with that. All right. Yeah, do all the clicks. Sanchez. I'm here with Sanchez. What up, Sanchez?
Hello, sir. Let's get some clicks away.
Yeah, there you go.
Get some clicks.
Man.
Hello, sir, and on this beautiful, illustrious Monday night, it was Father's Day weekend this weekend.
Yes.
We didn't record the pod because we just boycotted Father's Day. 2/3 of the pod. 2/3 of the pod.
No, shouts to Dave. Yo, Dave was still doing Father's Day activities. So shouts to Dave. Happy Father's Day to Dave.
For being a father.
For being, well, we don't have.
From coming, shouting out to Dave for coming back with the milk.
Word. Shout to Dave for coming back with the You never have to question him. That's oh man. If your dad's in your life and you guys have a good relationship, shouts to him. If you got more life with us, it's just another weekend. Nah, but shouts to everybody out there, all the good dads. But yeah, it was a crazy weekend. So we were a little bit. I don't call it a little bit. We were all very busy. But we got us here. It's one thing I want to say is week this, but in typical MLS fashion, I was looking up like, hey, what week are we on? And they're saying like the team of the week is on match day 19. And I'm like, I swore we're like on week 14 of the season. I hate when they have all the like extra games.
It's the right way to do it because it should be 34 weeks. But since there's multiple games, there's weeks where there's multiple games. You can't call it the same week, match week, blah blah blah.
Yeah, no,
match day. I get
it. It's just
it's crazy
throws
because
me off.
You eventually hit a number, whereas like where I'm at, what you said 19.
Yeah, they're on match day 19 right now.
How many games have we played? Like
doesn't even say it's just
like
it throws me off because it's like not everybody's on 19 or something like that.
We played 18 games, so
look at that.
And that number is only gonna go up because there's matches this weekend, I guess, too, right?
Yeah, there's been matches throughout, like sprinkled out because MLS, no breaks.
Don't give a damn about your FIFA windows. No, this week nobody plays. This weekend nobody plays.
They finally give everybody a break, but nah. Crazy weekend, man. First of all, not to get into, I'm not gonna give any details, but I just want to say, congrats to Sanchez on a big moment. You passed a milestone. I won't call it a milestone, bro. I'm not gonna get into of why, but I just want to give you props on air. It's a big milestone. Shouts to you. I know you've been working hard.
Thank you
for that.
I'm so happy to be able to poop today. I pooped. That was the milestone. I've been a little backed up. I took some fiber, ate some broccoli, and that didn't work. So what I do? It busted down some Chinese food because you know what? God's plan.
That MSG that they tell you it doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then this morning I was like, boom, back, bing, boom, boom, bing, back.
Hey, bro. And so you know me. You know my health has been. You get a nice number. You could drop a nice one. You feel like all your health is returning. Like
You get a
that shit.
you get a couple good kaplunks. You ever heard that? You
Yo,
know what's
yo,
kaplunk? And a nice
yo,
firm one. When it's a nice firm log.
oh man, this pot is off the rails already, bro.
Yes,
Holy
yes.
shit.
Thank you, dude.
Oh
Right?
man.
Maybe one
Nah,
day I'll tell the peoples what's going on in my life, but for now,
for now, I just wanted to congratulate you
for
in the
now, I
ethos
pooped.
for that you put. Oh man.
You
But I'ma selfishly start this pod with the Gold Cup because I took a trip to LA this weekend
see
to
the historic
bro.
first ever appearance of the República Dominicana in the
Yeah.
CONCACAF Gold
Clap,
Cup.
clap, better,
For the first
better,
time ever in the country's existence and history, they've decided
ever.
to put the bat down
And
and
pick up
kick
the
the ball
football. Kick it and
and
kick it and the football.
and
Bro.
kick the ball around, which to me, as long as we've known you guys, it's always been a joke. Like,
Yes.
okay, but seeing the progress to this point has been pretty cool. You know,
Bro.
it's like it's like our own it's like your own welcome to Wrexham moment right now. Like
It kinda is, yo, it really it really is.
yeah.
Cause it's like no one ever thought about this moment. I wouldn't I there's a reason why I rooted. I would normally either like I pick a team. Obviously, USA would be like the team you kind of defaulted to, but always like you always just pick team. I think I said in my post, I was like, for years we just attached ourselves to other countries during these tournaments because we weren't really there, but now we are. And dude, I know. So and I'm glad I'm talking to you. This kind of like this is like the first time actually that I'm talking with you through this because it'd be interesting to get your perspective on sort of my experience with this. You've known already how it feels to have like Ecuador in these kind of tournaments and kind of actively root for your home country, right?
But I also remember a time when Ecuador wasn't part of like the World Cup, and I
You used to have
remember,
Sudamerica or you still have Commonwealth, right? Stuff.
yeah, but it was like we were just there
You was
to
participating.
fill in the
Just
roster,
fill up a spot.
fill up the groups. Like it wasn't.
Like, yo,
We
yo,
were
tráelo
there,
para acá.
yeah, like
Invítalo, no te
and then
preocupes.
going to the World Cup was a myth. It
Yeah.
was a legend. It was like it was an urban myth right there that
Mm,
playing the World Cup. So I do kind of remember. I do relate to you not being ever able to see your team in the biggest stage. Obviously, it's not the World Cup. The biggest stage is more,
mm.
but this is the biggest stage you've been to so far.
So
Like,
so far, yeah, by all
yeah,
means.
yeah.
Because so and already people say this on wax. If I'm ever in LA, it's only for soccer. I'm really only. That place does not call to me on a vacation, doesn't call to me in any other way but business, essentially. The way we do business trips is we're in and out. So I take the trip out there, not knowing at all what's gonna like what any of these tournaments really like. Because with USA, I don't really go to USA games like that. And I think we've hit on this in other pods. It's to like that whole culture of like following your national team, quote unquote, or like it just doesn't. I'm not called to be like, let me go across the country to go see a USA game, right? Sorry, but this one I was like, I have to be there. It's the first one. I have to be there, and I went in thinking I was gonna be the only Dominican in this match. Like that's how like the whole time I was there, I landed and I was like, I'm not gonna see a Dominican flag ever. Maybe from like the family of the players. And it really felt like that. Like the moment I got closer to when I got to the stadium actually, because throughout the day I was just kind of
What stadium was this in again?
SoFi. So it was at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, Inglewood. So there was already like a little tension in the air because of the protests and stuff that's been going on. So I'll say this: the streets were kind of quiet when I was there. I think it was just focused on downtown LA, but you saw a little bit of the remnants, bro. This felt like the biggest away day like the ultimate away day, bro. Like it was felt like I was dolo. Like I was walking around the stadium with I had like my Dominican flag on. I had like on my shirt. I was showing a bit like with like DR stuff, and I was the whole time. I literally just I tried to do a lap around the stadium just so I could find one person with just our colors. I think in the chat I put I kept seeing red and white, and every time I saw red and white, I was just praying for blue for to be the next color in the flag, just because it'd be like, I bet that's one
America.
just something, and I didn't see it, and I was actually genuinely getting nervous a little bit. I was like, yo, am I good? Am I actually gonna be the only one in this motherfucker? Like, that's a hostile ass environment to be by dolo.
Well, I can relate because last year in Copa America, when it was Ecuador versus Mexico in Phoenix, I was like, I know there will be a few Ecuadorians, but there was no way. There was
Yeah,
that feeling of like, there's nowhere near enough of us to even make a hint of noise
no,
or hint of presence, to have a presence. And I was like, this is like real lopsided.
it feels
Me,
like
my
it,
dad,
bro.
and my brother were just like, yo.
It's a weird feed. I've never felt like this before, and like it's such a weird feeling. Like I don't understand. I can't fully express it, and I'm not gonna try to because I'm just bumbling through it. But it's a very I'm not gonna say unsettling, but it's definitely one of those where it's like you're just hyper aware that you're not gonna be around comrades for that month, and if you do, it's like there'll be another section over, and it's just another one singular person. So that's how like the vibe was. I did the lap, and that's very much how the vibe was. And then I started running into some, which was pretty cool. So I ran into one that was straight from DR, from Salcedo. Couple people that looked like they're American, but just happened to be Dominican. But they were there with like their Mexican friends. They like so everybody was just kind of. It was always like that. Like if I found one, they were there with their Mexican friends to watch the game. Or I found like a Puerto Rican who had a Mexico jersey because he's with his Mexican friends to root for the game. So that was very exciting, but it there was still like a sense of like everybody was celebrating like being Latino at the same time because of like the background stuff that was happening, you know. So it wasn't as like hostile as I thought it would be. Because I remember you were telling me, and obviously through we watch games and know about sometimes how like Mexico matches go, where they'll fight amongst themselves because like they'll start shouting out the teams that they root for, and then it becomes a club like thing, which definitely happened at the end, and I definitely was like, oh shit, it's about to go down. But dude, so I I go into the stadium, right? So actually, before shouts to I met up with an NYCFC fan, well
Mikey.
supporter, Mikey. Yeah, that was out there. He had hit me. He said that he has seen the game. He saw my story, and that's when he went to go look for tickets, and then he found tickets in the same 200 section for like not my section, but in this 200 level where I was at for half the price that I found it at. So I felt kind of like the butt. Um, and we'll definitely hit on the attendance stuff in a little bit. But bro, so met up with him, chill for a little bit. Um, went inside. We got inside right at anthems, and so hearing the Mexico anthem
Which one
being
was
sung,
first?
Mexico, which that's what threw me off because I was like, in my head I was like, I don't want to miss anthems because they're gonna play ours first to sort of get it out the way, and then Mexico being like the champion and stuff, they'll get it second. But they played Mexico first, which threw me off a little bit, and then you had everybody that was there just like singing it, and I was like, holy shit, like this is loud, like, and mind you, and I love the Mexican national anthem, like it's one of my favorite anthems. So I was like putting I was being respectful, like put my flag down, but kind of like singing it like low because it's a dope anthem. But bro, I'm gonna say this, man, and I still have not found words. Hearing the Dominican national anthem, like being sung in that stage or like played in that stage, I don't know how if that's how it like feels every time you hear the Ecuadorian national anthem, but like I couldn't record because I was trying to like record the moment. I got so like overwhelmed with emotion that I literally started shivering. Like, I was holding the flag up and singing, and at a point, like, there's a break in the anthem. At that break, I, like, physically felt like I felt my voice. I'm like, I know my voice is gonna crack the moment I start singing again, because it was just like this influx of just like everything. I was just started thinking like it just felt like I was thinking about like my grandma. I was thinking about like my family. I was thinking like, and I'm Dolo. Like there's no Dominicans around me. It's just me and a sea of Mexicans. I'm there just yelling out this anthem. No one's singing it around me. And it was like one of those moments where like, yo, we're finally here.
Mhm.
Like this is like it's super real. Like this team that no one gave a chance is given a chance. It's essentially brand new. This team really has only been together for like just a couple of years.
Yeah, there's a couple players there from like
Mm.
American players basically who play
Yeah,
like
no,
in the USL
we call them the no sabos. It's a no sabo team almost.
and
Like
low level uh
there's some
Spaniard
Spanish,
teams like
Russian league. There's people in La Liga.
real low level stuff.
Like he did
Third
the
division
recruiting.
Spain, I think, like stuff like that, right?
We have like it's like a mixture. It goes from like almost the whole spectrum. Like you have people in like the second division, some I think in the third division, and then
Mhm.
people that play obviously in like Betis and have played in the first division or Getafe. But I don't know. The moment definitely I'll say this. That moment was very overwhelming. Like I legit, it was one of those where it's like I get it. Like it's like I didn't understand it. Like like I always see everybody like you with Ecuador matches or like all of our Colombian friends will like when the Colombia goes to play or comes to play, our Mexican friends when Mexico goes to play. Like
I imagine the feeling you had was very similar to me when I saw Ecuador at the World Cup. Like I've seen them friendlies, I've seen them in Copa Americas, but seeing them at that stage, I've never seen them in person. It was all through TV, you know?
yeah,
And seeing them at that first game happened to be like the inaugural match too,
hmm
you know?
that's another
And
one. It was like the first match too. It was crazy.
yeah, and like I remember singing the anthem and just like crying through the anthem, like, yo, this is like it's surreal, one, that they're here. Two,
Mhm.
it's surreal that I'm there,
Yeah.
to see this and like and whoever else compatriots that are there with you to share this moment with, it's pretty surreal, you know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah. So I know
it,
that surreal moments, it like
yeah. I
yeah.
didn't understand. I didn't. I'm hearing you describe all of that from all these years is like I never really understood it because we always talk about how like USA we'll go to games but we're not like crying over the anthem.
Mhm.
But like yeah, this was I finally I finally felt like I was like okay I'm now a real soccer fan. It's like now this is the level that had to happen. Now I'm like I've arrived. We've arrived, and I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't know if you got to see the full game, but uh,
No,
we actually we pulled up.
I did not watch, almost n none of the game. I watched some of the second half, right?
Gotcha.
But I did come home and made it a point to watch multiple highlight videos,
Yeah,
like
dude.
different
It
perspectives.
was
Like I watched the Fox one,
yeah.
and I watched this other like YouTube one. Uh,
And they had
so
like
just
a
like
TUDN one too, just to get the Spanish.
yeah, I watched
Pass.
multiple. I watched multiple because I have to see the score line
Yeah,
and the stats of the game. I was like, oh, this game was not one sided.
bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. There was a point there where I was like, I can't. I felt like I couldn't celebrate anything because I never seen essentially a home team get booed so much by their own fans than I did in Mexico. Like that shit got hostile for a little bit. I was like, the moment it started whistling, I was like, oh,
Bro, this is I can't agree with you because we watched NYCFC fans fight over firing Ronnie Dyla, like literally fighting
no,
fighting in
but
the stands because they wanted Dyla out and some people wanted Dyla in. Like people
I
fought
know people
over
don't fought
people
over
fought
Ronnie
over
Dyla,
Ronnie
bro.
Dyla. And then you know what happened? We went that was the first
That
game
was the first.
that set off the 6 games unbeaten run
Hands were definitely
for the
still over Ronnie
championship. So
Dyla.
like So like,
No,
hands
but
were thrown for
yo,
Ronnie
that's
Dyla.
hilarious. Yo, NYCFC lore, bro. Hands were thrown for Ronnie Dyla.
Yes,
But like,
yes.
but I'm saying in like that kind of environment, I was just like, yo, if we score, I might get punched in the face right now just because of how tight these people are. Dude, DR came, they pulled up. We're missing two or key players, like very key players. Junior Firpo and Mariano Diaz, who he's like, if it for those
I
that go,
would I wouldn't consider. I would say they were
Mhm.
just missing one key player
Yeah.
because I feel like Mariano Diaz has not been a part of the team.
So that's what we're gonna allude to. Is like he's
For
somebody that's kind of like everybody's like, yo, like what is going on? He like wants to show up whenever he wants. He's on the roster, but for some reason he just wants to show up whenever he wants to show up, which
Mhm.
makes no sense. You don't have the
Which is never.
capital anymore.
Which is
But
never.
dude, he does not have the capital or anymore the equity, let's say, to make those kind of moves where Spain doesn't want you. You don't have a team. You have not signed for anybody yet. You need to be playing. You're playing the Gold Cup. Just do what you need to do. It's an international stage. Show up. So we're missing these people, and we still put it. I want to say, there was moments there where we looked like the better team
Yeah.
against Mexico, and that shit was, it was not only surprising, but almost like I had to start asking myself, like, I need to be realistic of like, yo, are we this good or is Mexico that bad?
Is this
'Cause
the real life? Is just this a fantasy?
it's just-
Listen,
what,
the 2 goals that y'all scored were tasty.
bro,
Tasty as goes the setup, the approaches, the build up to, the run of play to the goals,
dude,
both goals. Even though
both,
one, there was, some people might say, I wouldn't say there's an asterisk to it because the second ball was on the field, which I think was the first
it
goal.
was the first goal
Yeah.
because it was a fan that threw it. Just you
Yeah.
could tell he's drunk. He just threw the ball.
I wouldn't say it was asterisk for 2 reasons. 1, the ball was not near the ball of play, the run of play. The ball landed well behind where the action was at. And
Yeah,
2, I ain't hear no goddamn whistle.
no,
You know
they
what I'm
got
saying?
stuck because they got stuck.
Yeah,
Like
and it was a great play. The nutmeg was before the ball was thrown in.
Mhm.
The coming through the middle, was far away
The
from
ver
where
yeah,
the ball.
the play already kind of started. Like they already
Yeah.
had moved. Nah,
So,
man,
and the shot was somewhere where
bro,
no
the
one was able to miss
English
it.
on it. The
Yeah.
English on it. Peter, who he plays, he kind of became like the star player that came out of the like everybody's kind of talking about. Lawless put him in his top 10.
What's
Uh,
his name?
uh,
Scarron?
no,
What's his name?
Peter Gonzalez, if I remember his last name correctly. But
He,
he doesn't go with his last name. He just puts Peter on the back. Very
yes,
much like
there you
my
go.
dad doesn't exist mode.
Uh,
Um,
he also didn't come back for the milk.
yeah, but he was in Real Madrid's academy and he plays for Getafe now. So it's like those are the kind of talents that they've been able to recruit and find, um, and all better for it. And the reaction, because immediately after the game, I was like, those losses that just feels like not wins, they just feel like statement games. I immediately wanted to go see like what the like Fútbol Picante reactions were, or like
Yeah.
what was going on. Yo,
They have positive reviews.
everybody was just big on DR. Like like the rants were all on like, how can Mexico let this happen? Like they're talking about like the Mexico, you gotta admit that you're in the mud, that the whole federation has came up and you haven't. Like that was like, and that was from their media. It wasn't even like our media. That was
This
their media talking.
this reminds me again to tie it back to me. 2002 World Cup. Ecuador's first ever appearance in the World Cup. Who was their first match against? Mexico.
Yeah.
Uh, and this was a time period when Mexico's a really high period, and Ecuador was just,
Mhm.
they're nothing. Yeah, that we were supposed to get demolished.
Yeah.
You know, Ecuador lost 2-1, and it was one of those games where you walked away. It's like, well, you know what? If a couple things went differently, the score line would have been different,
Mm.
and that put a lot of pressure on Mexico that World Cup. And to be like, listen, just because y'all won doesn't mean it's a good start, and maybe this team Ecuador could surprise somebody, which they didn't. They didn't surprise nobody, but uh, Well, they did. You know what? I take that.
I was like,
They
yeah,
did.
I
That
wasn't
World
like,
Cup,
you
they
didn't have
did.
a bad
They
World Cup.
that no, they lost the next game also to Italy, which eliminated them. But the third game, which was the most important one, they eliminated Croatia, and Croatia
Uh,
went into that World Cup as a favorite.
yeah, like
Croatia had to win that last game to make it out of the group stage, and Ecuador beat them. So uh,
it's like like that right there. You can hang your hat on because
you can hang
it's
out,
like
and it
it's just
builds for the future.
progression. Yeah, because the so I ended up running into a bunch of like Dominicans throughout the match,
Mhm.
and everybody was just saying because the Guatemala match had just uh happened just the prior week essentially. So we lost that, so we lost our ability to qualify for for the World Cup next year. But everybody was just like, "Yo, Project 2030. It's Project 2030." This is
And
like
don't get me wrong, aren't you guys in the Olympics next year or in a couple of years?
uh I want to say yeah, but believe we qualified again. Yeah, I have to double check that, but we
Oh, or did you qualify for the last Olympics?
it was the last Olympics, but our U20 team is doing really well. So uh I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to qualify for the next
Listen,
Olympics.
you uploaded a video on your Instagram stories about the one of the players getting interviewed and the importance and everything.
Mhm.
So normally, I don't care that much, right? But I kind of wanted to see his response for because it is. I'm a moments guy, you know. Like I like
Yeah.
the moments. Like I like watching finals for teams and leagues that I don't give a crap about, just because I want to see the moments, you know,
Mhm.
experience the moments. Um, and listening to his response, listen to the way he talks, I'm like, bro, this dude is like really Dominican. Like
Yeah.
it's like he's not one of those Ostia Tío Dominicans or
Nah,
Don
bro.
Pablo Dominican. This guy straight up from DR, like
Yeah.
from the land, the motherland, and is somehow here because the question was like, I forget what town or city he was from. They mentioned it, and they're like, "Did you ever imagine growing up there and being here now?" And he's like, "No, like I would
Yeah.
never have thought I would be here right now and playing against Mexico,
Yeah,
playing
that's from
against."
Meadow. He plays in Bolivia. He's now the leading scorer.
I
Uh,
forgot what town he said he was from. Oh, he plays in Bolivia.
yeah,
That's
but
interesting.
he plays for Bolivar.
That's real interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because think about it, he plays Libertadores every so often.
Libertadores, yeah, yeah.
So it's like he plays against top competition, and
Top level, yeah.
he scores on them. Like, so it's like that. So imagine like you dude from probably like he's a campo. Like he's like nah, bro. It's like you ask me if I'm being interviewed right here by in a press pool. Like this stuff is not 3 years ago. That wasn't a thing. It was DR was just like a team that competed in the Caribbean. That's it. It was just because I think over the
He
years,
most known for being the home stadium for Haiti, for Haitian teams.
yeah, pretty much,
The
yeah.
last because they got that famous stadium with the tree and one behind
That's
one
how,
of the goals.
and see that's Cibao FC Stadium in
Yeah,
Santiago.
they got that tree behind one of the goals,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
hilarious.
iconic in a sense that there's a tree, a big old tree at that.
Big.
Yeah.
So
So
nah, man. Overall. I think very like again. I keep using the word. It was a very surreal moment. Like the fact that everyone around me was like I started a conversation with people around me. People were asking me questions because it was like you don't see a Dominican team, and then being in California, you don't really see a lot of Dominicans even to start with. So people were always
yeah,
like asking, like they were just curious about like yo, like about this team. People didn't know one name on our squad. Uh, People were asking me a question about DR, like yo, I want to go to to Punta Cana for vacation. What do you recommend? Like, so it was very like a welcoming environment, which again,
don't leave the
go,
resort.
don't exactly. I was like, you have fun if you go to the resort. Um, but yeah, it was just for it to be essentially. I'm gonna say it. It wasn't my first international game, but it's like my first international game where I
It's
was
your team.
all in. It was
Yeah.
like all in, and then and it was also a great match. Like I went in it like thinking, so joking around before the match when I was saying hi to people, I was just telling everybody, "Good luck, buena suerte, buena suerte." You know, like everybody was looking at me like, "What do you mean good luck?" Like we're Mexico, and I'm like, "Buena suerte, buena suerte." Just joking around because I was like, I gotta come with a little bit of confidence, and I was right. They really needed the luck, bro. Because some of those run-ins that DR had, we could have been 4 up. If we had, if honestly, if we had a little bit better of a winger, in these run-ups, we'd be scoring them. We could score those games. And
honest assessment, next match is against Costa Rica. Alonso Martinez is Costa Rica, which he scored over in a thrilling 4-3 match against Suriname.
Exactly. Suriname is also on the come up too.
Thrilling match.
Yeah, they needed a penalty.
What do you think against Costa Rica? I will say, sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. I don't see them beating Costa Rica.
So I don't see them beating Costa Rica either, but hear me out. I think this game against Mexico did the one thing that maybe Costa Rica didn't want this Dominican team to have, and that's 100% belief that they can beat Costa Rica.
Plátano power.
Straight Plátano power. Because, yo, that shit was put into the thing because they were bullying Mexico at a point, bro. They were, I forgot I forgot his name. He plays in Panama, but he came in. Big old dude. Bro, my man was just mushing. Like, they were CONCACAFing the crap out of Mexico. I'll say if they're in the match, if they're able to hold it down, I think if they can sneak. If it's a win, it's gonna be a sneaky win. I don't think they're gonna dominate Costa Rica either. Like, it's not. I think that they're a bit more fitted team or more suited team for like this competition, and I honestly think they're gonna probably they'll make it out. But it'll be interesting. I think they'll give them a fight. They'll definitely give them a fight.
I'll tell you,
they're concise. DR looks like they're moving together. They know their game plan. They know their strengths. They just got to work on those weaknesses that they showed in Mexico, and you just never know.
I'm gonna give you the math right now. Mexico beats Suriname.
That's 6 points for them.
All right. DR, best case scenario, I think DR ties with Costa Rica. Right? 1 point. Costa Rica with 4 points. Suriname at the bottom with 0.
Yeah.
You have to rely on Mexico beating Costa Rica.
Yep. And then
by whatever score, 1-0, 10-0, whatever. And DR beating Suriname by whatever score.
But we need the goal difference at that point.
Hear me? At this point, even if you win 1-0, your goal difference will be at 0 with only received 2 goals.
Yeah.
If Mexico beats Costa Rica by 1-0, that means they will also be goal difference at 0, right? But have received more goals than DR.
Gotcha. Yeah, they scored on. So
yeah,
it like I said,
look,
the math for quick maths. It's still
pick that up.
Yeah.
So
it's still very attainable.
There's a chance,
bro. That's all they need is just the belief, and they have it in them. They're going full on.
A tie would be a great result because then it puts a lot of pressure on that final match. And Suriname, like you said, they're up and coming. They have a lot of Dutch players, I believe it is.
Yeah, a lot of the players are Dutch. Kind of like the Curacao baseball team or the Curacao even footy team. Like
and if they get beat bad by Mexico, what's the point of playing the last game? What's to put the effort in?
Yeah, exactly. So
they will mathematically be out.
Bro, if DR makes it out this group, that's literally the only story to tell about the group stage.
It would be one of the most
one of the biggest upsets in group stage history.
It would be, and I think on a global scale, like the fact that a team who's probably not even ranked in top 100,
bro, 139th.
Look at that, making it out of a group stage in an international tournament. That's how big of a story this would be. I was listening the other day about how with the expanded field in the World Cups, will we ever see a Cinderella team make it into like the quarterfinals, the last 8 teams?
Yeah.
And it's every World Cup is becoming less and less apparent that that's happening. And with expanded fields, you're going to get more demolitions than those types of scenarios.
Because the middles are going to be there, and it's going to be like, all right,
you're going to get the 10-0 and
Bayern, part-time warehouse workers.
Warehouse workers, the veterinarian supply warehouse workers.
Oh, but nah. Yeah, I don't know. Right now we're all riding on like good feelings. It's good vibes all overall. But yo, I want to I want to do like a quick shameless plug. So I was wearing. I don't. There's not the shirt that I was wearing, but I was wearing this stuff. What's it? Bam. So I kind of
Put it back up. Put it back up. Put it back up.
There you go.
Up, up,
Uh,
up, up, up,
there
up.
you go.
Okay.
A
Hold it there for a second and see what. Let's look at this real quick. It looks like a dragon holding a
so
flare with the jersey. And what is that in his hand? Then
so
a whip with like a whoopee cushion at the end. What is this?
all right. Hold on, 'cause I want to get to the mic. So uh hey, I have a photo of it, so I want to bring it up right now. So this is a Diablo Cojuelo. So it's called a limping demon. It's
A demon, not a dragon. Sorry.
yeah. So it's a tradition in DR. Like like you'll see them a lot in like festivals and especially during the independence. Every every city, every region in DR has their own version of a Diablo, and it's supposed to be the folklore is that they come down, they demons like they've fallen onto Earth, and they sort of like are there to sort of wave off bad juju, essentially. Um, so that's one the Diablo. So that I had this made and then the whole thought process behind it is kind of bringing like the barra culture that that we know about into sort of the DR supporting culture. So it has the DR jersey on it. So that's the DR jersey that it has. So the bag that you see is a whip. So if you go to any Dominican Independence parade, you see these guys kind of like walking around and whipping it. And the tradition is you kind of like either they try to get you and whip your ass with it, or you kind of like be like, oh, you kind of turn around and get whipped with it. It's trust me, it's weird, but it's part of our tradition.
I do not consent to this.
So so the whole point is so the Diablo is like a supporter, and then it's being whipped. So I'm starting this little thing. Calling right now. I'm calling it Kelo KFC, and it's just a way of Dominican soccer fans to show support in a you know barra kind of a way we know supporting culture, where it's like fan made merch uh and design. So with the flares that you don't really see that often in DR or at all. So I'm gonna have these for sale soon. I'm gonna have a little page up. So if you guys are interested, just hit me up on my Instagram.
Shout
And
out to all the Dominicans who listen to the
yeah, where shouts to on my Platano. So if y'all know, out there, if you know a Dominican soccer fan, uh, just let them know. Hey, they're out there. We saw in the comments, some people were like, "Oh, we're gonna be out in LA," but nobody. They didn't. I told them hit me up on the Instagram. Nobody hit me up. So because I had shirts out there, like not a lot, but I had like a couple that I wanted to give away, and I gave away to some of the people that I saw. But but yeah, just a little pet project. There's more to it. I'm gonna probably share a little bit more
Right.
some episode, but that's just a shameless plug of mine. But I
Um,
did want to
go
get
ahead.
into the USA a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
actually, I wanted to get into the USA Gold Cup match because the USA did it. Oh, if one
yo,
thing they know how to do well in this country is fucking drama. From the
yo,
top down in every aspect of American
es
culture
una
and
novela.
politics, culture, social political stuff. Fucking the tea is always hot in American soccer culture.
Why? Like you would like
Oh,
out of all the teams in the world that you would think were like, yo, there shouldn't be any drama. Is this why this one?
well, you know what is crazy about this team as like the last, I don't know, 5 since 2017 Cuba when they didn't make it to the World Cup and for the 18
Yeah.
World Cup. The US is really the US soccer landscape, national team landscape really is what the English media always perceives the English national team to be. You know, with
Yeah,
all the
that's what you
drama
mean. Yeah.
and infighting and the gossip. if American mainstream medium covered soccer a little bit more, bro, all of this stuff would be like on Us Weekly, on all the gossip magazine tabloids. This is major freaking chisme going on right now
Boom.
with the US and Pochettino and Christian Pulisic are having a spat right now.
Like a
They're
public, like it's not
a
even like
public spat. They're
this,
publicly jabbing at each other.
and on like on wax. They're essentially, it's not
Bro,
like on some like a journalist did a rumor or heard something.
no, they're
These motherfuckers
first
are literally
person
on a
account.
microphone talking about, yeah, so this isn't this. Yeah, but he's
So
what that.
so so Pochettino is like, "Hey, uh, no one player could dictate what we do on this team. I am not a mannequin, like, I'm not a." He's trying to say puppet,
Yeah.
trying to say títere. Like, you can't I'm the boss. My job is not to care about what you say. Your job is to listen to what I have to say.
Yeah.
And if you don't wanna do this, we'll find the players who can do this. And this
Yep.
is juicy, bro.
Bro.
Juicy stuff going on right now. Christian Pulisic going on podcasts, doing himself no favors,
Whatsoever, bro.
trying to save face. His daddy don't fucking know how to take proper screenshots of ChatGPT shit.
He really
Like, this is nuts.
I would say the US, it's hard because they don't really have a fucking nickname. I'm gonna just call them the Eagles. I don't know. That's a horrible nickname for that team, anyways. The U.S. national team, the U.S. NMNT, they what you gonna call it? Like they benefit. There you go. They benefit. They benefit so much from soccer being like a fifth tier sports in the sports media world for America, because shit like this doesn't get play outside of soccer media, and soccer media only gets consumed by the sickos like us. So like within the bubble, it's a drama, but ESPN is not gonna rerun it with this the way, like you said, like an English media would. Because how is it that you're going into this tournament and you're essentially your star player, and now your manager heading into a World Cup is beefing, and you have no competitive matches beyond the Gold Cup? Like, you're meaning that
Christian Pulisic saying, "Oh, I would he's sitting out because he's tired." Basically, he's tired. He wants time for himself. Cool, I guess to a certain extent. Okay, I kind of get it, right? But then you coming out, the coach saying, Pulisic saying on the interviews, "Oh, I wanted to play the first 2 games, like friendly games against Switzerland and Turkey, but they said no." Then you got the coach saying, "No, we just wanted one roster. Why would we want people who are gonna be here for the full ride."
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm with Poach on that take.
I'm with
Like I don't
both of them. I'm with
I
because
just I understand both, but
yeah,
when your coach is saying, "Yo, we have a competition, we
we're
have
doing
a
big
legit
he's
tournament."
viewing this big picture.
Yeah,
Pochettino's viewing this big picture. He's like, "I want my" he hasn't had a full roster since he's been the coach.
dude,
You know?
like
Like, if the World Cup, imagine this was what we're going on right now was March, and the World Cup was 3 months away, right?
yeah,
There's a legitimate argument where conversation could be had where a lot of these big name players could be left off
mhm,
because he's building a system with the guys he's been working with. These guys that are on the Gold Cup roster right now are the ones who were in January camp for the majority of them. The ones who've been around them all the other international break windows, you know? This Diego Luna cat, Tillman, Jack
it's all
Lynn.
it's all the
These guys
consistency.
these guys are and they're showing what I've been saying the US team has been lacking for a few years. That Clint Dempsey aggression, that dog in them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? These players showing that dog.
mm,
And Pochettino, he's Argentinian. He's used to Argentinian players having each and every one of them having that dog in them.
yeah, like they're not backing down from a fight. Like it's just
Yeah, and now you have all these players that you're building some type of locker room camaraderie that is like, all right, these are the guys I'm rocking with. You know, it's it sucks. It's sad because these big players could act this way and pick and choose when they want to play because they feel that there's no one behind them on the depth chart that's a legitimate threat to
Their
to
spot. Yeah.
their spot, which is very true and is also like symptomatic of how bad the U.S. Soccer system ecosystem is. The player pool is, but at the same time, sometimes this is a team sport, and you don't need individual players. You need a team to function properly. Like like that Germany team that won the World Cup in 2014. They were a team. They were a bunch of big name dudes who wasn't
But
just individual stars that were put together to build a team. So it's like he's building something here. In my people said, "Oh, it's a big deal that he didn't call Gio Reyna up because of Dortmund." Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Gio Reyna plays 0 minutes for Dortmund in the Club World Cup. And in my eyes, he shouldn't get called up because he's played like 7 minutes in the past 10 months. Why
yeah,
would why would you call him up?
yeah,
This is a
potential
merit-based
talent is
yeah,
not enough to be called up to the national team anymore. Like
this is
that's not.
merit-based. If it's always been merit-based, the national team, the way it's been treated. He said it himself, "You don't play, you don't play."
Yep.
You know?
He,
So
the rumor is that he's like having conversations with him about finding an MLS team just so he could get reps in because it's
just to
like,
get the
yo,
minutes.
you
Yeah.
need the confidence of day in day outs just to be able
Yeah.
to show up.
You know,
Like
and that's why our guy Matt Freeze started the first match.
yeah,
He started one of the matches, the first match against Turkey in the friendlies, the first
mhm,
match in Hartford, Connecticut, where a lot of NYCFC fans went to. He didn't start the second match, and they got demolished by Switzerland in the second
yeah,
match. Uh, he started the first match of the Gold Cup. He didn't have much to do, but
yeah.
maybe him starting is telling Matt Turner, like, "Hey, buddy,
You
when the
need
games start to matter, when the games mean something and have value, I'm gonna pick the guys who are playing day in and day out." And you know what? Does Matt Turner make that save that uh Freeze made against
was it the Turkey
Trinidad and
one? Oh
Trinidad and Tobago? Like, does he make that save? Obviously, the US had that game dominated, but a
yeah.
clean sheet is still important.
Bro,
And
you still goal
that,
difference. Like,
yeah, goal
you
difference.
said it earlier. Goal difference means a lot. Is
And we just saw how that goal probably would have went in if Matt Freeze doesn't get a stretch on that, get a handle on that. He didn't have much to do, but the times he had something to do, he came through. And maybe this is going into a direction where I will hope to see that Pochettino picks the best available players that are with the team and playing and getting minutes. That being said, US destroyed Trinidad and Tobago.
yeah. That felt like one of those games where it's just like they were a lot of shit has been talked about with the friendlies prior to that, like them, losing to Turkey, then literally cut up by Swiss, and the whole talk of like this the first time in like they won they've lost 4 straight in a row. Everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? All the drama that's happening. So this felt like a cathartic match for USA, and again, the production that you got are from the people that the names that you're not really too familiar with. And I'm with you on if Pochettino's gonna have that, and granted, we joke around with the whole like Pochettino assignment, but he's still a manager with some uh pedigree.
He does.
Yeah, he's gonna put his foot down, and if you're not gonna be available, and I know the Club World Cup kind of also threw things for a loop because
Certain players,
McKenzie, wasn't really let go, or which
yeah.
that's honestly, and not to get to that's just a sidebar. That whole like my club needs to let me out type of thing is a little weird sometimes. I'm like, bro, it's the national team. Like
Well,
I
that's the
get,
problem. That's the problem with FIFA and CONCACAF not coordinating better
yeah,
because they
'cause-
basically put it on the players. There's a player for Canada who asked to be excused from the Canadian national team so he could go play for Porto. He plays for Porto, right?
yeah,
Um, but he said he's gonna try to play both tournaments.
look at that. Jesse
So
Marsh throwing jabs too. He said now one
Jesse Marsh
player.
saying at one player reached out to him talking about I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know,
So, bro, he's gonna find all the shots to take. But
good.
yeah, like
And then for the people who compare this to Landon Donovan taking a break, calm the fuck down. Donovan literally took a break off soccer for a year and changed. Like he did not play.
yeah,
It's not that he's like I'm gonna pick and choose which games I want to play. No, he
yeah.
said I'm gonna sit down for a year.
And he was
Year
30. He was
plus.
already in his 30s.
You know,
Like it wasn't like he
playing
was in the peak of his career.
exactly. He's been playing. He at that point this was 2013. Landon Donovan at that point was almost playing in the league almost 10 years.
Hmm.
You know,
Let me ask you, because you're also, since you follow Milan. Milan this past season wasn't on some like we're in every kind of competition. Like they weren't in craziness for them to be like, oh, I've played so many matches this year that I'm taking a break. Because I'm assuming other I know Eunice is not on the team as
Eunice
well.
Wilson. But
Yeah. But
but
he's, I
he
think he's
also
figuring out like his contract situation. So I think he's
but
in the
that's a valid reason because he also did not get much burn during the regular season.
yeah.
He wasn't
So look
playing a
at that.
lot, you
But
know?
I'm pretty sure if somebody on Milan's team, who else is on a national team from Milan?
Santi Jimenez, the guy from Mexico.
Yeah, look at that.
He
Word.
played for Milan.
Play for Milan. Kind of was oh, what do you call him? Like a not a I'm calling it like a breakout
And
star.
he came from another team, so he played for 2 teams last
Yeah,
season.
my man started. He was literally one of the two Jimenez brothers. Everybody, they're not brothers because there's different Jimenezes, but playing for Mexico on day one, and probably will be there on Wednesday as well. So it's like those excuses are just weird, and then everything that comes from that, like, but then they go and win 5-0. So it's like this team can do it, and they have the players to do. Obviously, this tournament at least get out of the group.
It's gonna be a tougher, match for the US, the next match against Saudi Arabia.
Mm.
It's also a little bit of a payback, for I guess Trinidad Tobago. The guy who scored the infamous goal to eliminate the US from that World Cup in 2017
Yeah.
was on the field. He was a starter,
Yep.
and he was
And he was
actually one of the lowest rated players on the team.
yeah, he had a horrible game.
Yeah, but now they play Saudi Arabia, who is a legitimate team. You know, they did beat Argentina in the World Cup. You know,
And
I have
they
no idea why Saudi Arabia is here to begin with, but
one of those invitees.
then maybe TKO organized this also. WWE organized the Gold Cup as well. Yeah, Clash
Like
Clash
we need
Champions or whatever it's called.
Clash of the Oil guys.
Yeah.
But
So
it's just what worries me with USA is that it's just the next year. This is literally the last. You have no competitive matches after this tournament,
so
and
they have
you
to step
have
up.
players that are supposed to be here, quote unquote World Cup players, that are not gonna know what gelling with this team is. They're gonna go into the World Cup, not they're gonna force us to do camps and figure out friendlies. And
So
what
they
team
have
in a year?
they have 2 friendlies lined up already, confirmed, I think. I believe it's Japan and South Korea for September, right?
Like
Which is not nobodies,
I know
which are not nobodies, right? But it's still friendlies, you know, at the same
it's
time.
friendlies, yeah. Like
Also, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's rumored that for the October friendlies, one of the games most likely will be against Ecuador. I don't like it because I feel like Ecuador and the US play each other very often now in friendlies. I feel like they play each other every World Cup cycle in friendlies.
because I think you
That
guys are becoming the Common Bowl team that can since you guys are able to sort of now compete with the other Common Bowl teams, but you're not necessarily like a
the fee is
Brazil,
less.
Argentina.
The fee
The
is
fee, yeah,
less.
yeah.
The fee is
You guys,
less.
you guys are cheap.
That's all it comes down.
You guys are
The fee
cheaper than Argentina, Brazil, Chile.
so
Well, maybe Chile, but Chile now because they
they're
haven't made it,
nobody. Yeah,
they got to lower the rates.
the jabronis. Uh, the
Colombia, they're not gonna get
this is
Colombia either.
that same window. Check this out though. That same window in October, it's rumored because it's Mexico at home is gonna host 2 friendlies. One against Ecuador in Guadalajara, and the other match, I'm not sure, I think it might be Monterrey against Colombia,
Okay.
you
Interesting.
know? So that's 2 valid, real legitimate oppositions for Mexico in Mexico. That's good.
Yeah.
So now for the US Ecuador, I feel like it's a good game for both of them in a sense. But
But you
as if you were to be a strictly USA fan, you would want a higher level, even if you're gonna lose, a higher level opponent
and you're
for
gonna
the
want
US.
you want to simulate the ins and outs of a tournament with
Yeah.
the squad that's going to the World Cup. So like put like and not to be on the Pulisic part because the other players are missing, but Pulisic is now he's not gonna know now what it feels like to be with this team in a locker room like at a halftime or what it
Oh,
is to
wow.
hear Pochettino like you don't he doesn't know what the cue words are like hey or keywords sorry that Pochettino may need to tell you when it's like you got 15 minutes to sort of redo your tactics like the little nuances of being part of a team he's not going to have that
Bro,
like in his back pocket he's not going to have that experience with this squad and honestly there's a I think they always do the comparison of like the last time there was an MLS heavy team compared to a European heavy team. The MLS heavy team made it further in competitions than the Europe heavy team. So it's like he's
they won the Gold Cup that year with James Sands.
so James Sands. They yep exactly,
Sean Johnson was on that roster. He didn't play, but he was.
bro.
Or did he play that?
Yeah, I think Sean Johnson was in on that team. I don't think he played though. I don't think he played in the final. I think Turner still had the number one,
Okay,
but he was on that squad though.
he was on that squad. Listen, I don't want to. I talk a lot about Ecuador, but just to compare your point that you just made, the Ecuador's last this past FIFA window where they tied to Brazil at home and then tied to Peru away to qualify for the World Cup.
Mhm.
How about
Okay.
them apples? You know what I mean? They called up players uh not to occupy roster spots that are hurt. They just brought them to camp just to be part of the team. You get what I'm saying?
I'm
Like
with you.
you're part of the team just because you're hurt and we get it, you can't play, but you're still part of this team. Still have the camaraderie in the locker room. If Pulisic didn't
Yeah.
want to play, I think it would have been still good idea to have him in the locker room,
To
you
go
know,
around, be around
to
these
be
players.
around, learn from Pochettino, learn what the tactics, build the camaraderie, be a leader.
Yeah.
Be a leader, you know? Tyler Adams, as much as I dislike him as a player or whatever, because of the Rebel Association, he's a really good leader,
Yeah.
and he could have stayed home. He played a long season too in England,
Bro,
coming off injury,
super
and
injury.
he's here, hurt, but he's still here.
And I can't remember correctly right now. I forgot if Bournemouth was in a relegation battle or not. But
No, I think they finished in mid-table.
yeah, because Iriola
They
actually had a
actually were
claim
they were
recent.
actually battling for one of those lower European
Yeah.
spots. Uh,
So, but a battle. The team was in a battle,
yeah.
and he wore the armband for Bournemouth at some points. So that tells you, and he also did it at Leeds. And so it tells you the kind of player that he is. Like you said, he's a very and he's vocal. Like he's
Mhm.
shouting. When he came in, I think it was the second half against Turkey. You could tell that he immediately was just like trying to dictate players. Like, no, I need you over there. And you have that. If Pulisic is your star player and he's not there, it's bad. But I mean, they beat the shit out of Trinidad and Tobago. They're gonna go there. So, do you think Matt Freeze gets the start? I guess he's gonna keep the start.
Listen, if he gets the next start, then the conversation legitimately becomes, is Matt Freeze the number one keeper?
I'm yo. I know Schulte is injured right now, so he wasn't on the squad. But one person's you know, I don't call it downfall, but you know, you take all the opportunities you can, and right now he's taking full advantage of the opportunity.
Sports is next man up.
Yeah,
And Matt Freese, you can make the argument he got the start for the first game to get Matt Turner more reps in practice, get him more ready for the game time, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll give you the first one. That argument. That argument doesn't work again for the second match.
No,
You know? And if Matt Freese starts the second match and does good, he's the goalkeeper.
he's
But
keeping.
at least for this tournament, he's the guy,
Yeah,
right? And Matt Turner has to live with that.
yeah.
He's had 4 appearances the entirety of last season.
Against Crystal Palace. Well,
Uh,
sorry, on Crystal Palace.
4 appearances.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. Matt Freese had 4 appearances the last 2 weeks he was in
It's
the club.
that has.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
he just finished. He just come off playing 8 games in a month. You know,
and
like,
look at that, and he's just like, "Fuck it." Yeah, bro. I'm a big believer in level of play matters, but for the international competitions, you need consistency trumps a lot of the skill level, because if you're not playing, you could be the best player in the world. If you're not playing, you don't have the confidence of game day. You don't know that you don't have 90 minutes in you. You're just chilling. You're like a campaign for the Knicks. It's like it's cool that you come in for 4 minutes and you make the best out of it, but if you're not playing every single day, you're not gonna get consistency out of you. But um, so
listen,
I don't
I think the US has the potential to rebound kind of hard. Um, have a good rebound this Gold Cup because um, at least in the group stage, I fully expect them to get out the group stage, especially after winning that first game. Um, I'm very confident that the US is gonna get out the group. And then I'm not sure how the bracket is set up properly for for the future rounds, but I don't see why not they can't make it to semifinals.
know. Who USA?
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely should make it out of the group. Um, like yeah, they should make it out of the group. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm hoping. We hope. Let's just say we hope at that. And then I think when is it they play Thursday?
Yeah, but think about it, they would have to have a
Yeah,
catastrophe
yo.
to
You
not make
play
it out the group.
you play Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, and Saudi Arabia. USA on paper should already just yeah.
Yeah, especially if they win the second game,
Yeah.
like that's it, they're through. But
Oh, I know.
what do you think about the stadiums?
So
What was the announced attendance for the US games, like 12,000 and change
yeah, so I
at
bet
a
I
nine
bet
at a 19K horseshoe stadium that's open on
yeah.
Monday,
So we're gonna
and the first level is all club seats,
yeah, like
and that
like
there's nobody there.
nobody. I remember I mentioned in the chat. I was like, it's so weird. Like I understand the Mexico part of like, yo, you're gonna be playing at SoFi Big Stadium, California, but USA to essentially be relegated to second fiddle stadium choice, where you have plenty of other NFL stadiums in the state that you could have gone to. You could have done a 2-for-1 at SoFi if you really wanted to. You play in San Jose, so Levi's is literally just down the road from you, and you play PayPal. Sorry, PayPal. You pay in PayPal. Costa Rica and who was
Saudi
it they
Arabia.
played? Saudi playing at Snapdragon, and what was it you had mentioned? The 2-for-1
It was
that it was a
a single admission doubleheader with
you,
Haiti. There was Haiti and it was Haiti and Saudi Arabia and
yeah
also it was Costa Rica and Suriname.
yeah. So it's like you get a two for
Single
one at Snapdragon.
doubleheader, you get a free hot problem.
Like, bro, what was the song that we used to play? $5 and a Happy Meal, or whatever. Um, like the as you as you're in your country and you're not getting preference on a larger stadium, and then you can't even fill up the smaller one. It's
Maybe that's indicative of where the state of the fan base is at right now.
but if you think about it, bro, it's
And
happening before where it's like
the team as well.
Yeah, like think about it. Like you have whatchamacallit, the Turkey match against this friendly played at Hartford. That was essentially an away day for USA.
Yep.
You know, it's against Swiss. I didn't really. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch that match, but
That was in Nashville, I
that was
believe.
that was in Nashville. Nobody at that stadium.
The upper deck was basically empty.
Basic, like plain. It was just plain. And
Yeah.
so yeah, like there's
Ticket
a
price. So I saw a tweet that said the cheapest ticket for the USA Trinidad and Tobago game was $70.
that there's a lot of I feel like a lot of contributing factors are there for attendance stuff because even at the Mexico match, like it wasn't full. That upper level, it was I think it was the announced attendance was like 58,000 something and some change. For SoFi, that's not a full capacity at
Yeah,
all.
I think they fit about 70, right?
Yeah. So and a lot of those were like day of tickets that were sold because it like when you saw the thing, it was there were still tickets available on Ticketmaster. Um, they need to do something about the prices, man. Like we're not seeing Gold Cup is not the World Cup, and even then, it shouldn't even be the those kind of prices.
To be
Like
honest, the US should not be playing. I'm sorry. I don't know offense to San Jose, but that stadium is not should not be a national team stadium.
no, at all.
It should
That's not
it's not a national it's the national team.
bro.
It's
It
the
feels
national team.
embarrassing. It feels
It's the
embarrassing.
national team, bro.
It's very
Like
embar like I'm
I understand the concept of wanting to play in other cities besides the cities that I would say are a short thing to fill up, like Columbus, Cincinnati, like these Middle America teams,
yeah.
cities. I get that. You want to share the game for everybody. But San Jose is not a, a, a
Mm,
national team stadium, bro.
nah.
It's open on one side.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm telling you,
You
bro,
can
I
see the
did
freeway.
you can see the airport. It's literally
Oh,
the
the
stadium.
airport, yeah.
The stadium is you people planes are landing and it's literally on the other side of the stadium.
Like,
I
if they wanted to
my
keep it in California, I would have picked. Is there not a college stadium you could have picked? Is there? I would have maybe flirted with the idea of like LAFC stadium. You know, like
I mean, again, you have Levi is literally down the road from PayPal.
but that's the
Like
thing.
I
They picked the MLS stadium because they're not gonna fill up an NFL stadium. Okay, let's go with that theory. Cool. You're not gonna fill up an NFL stadium because that's not where you're at right now.
yeah.
Okay, but if you're gonna pick MLS stadiums, and on that side of the country, there's
The better ones
PayPal Stadium is not one of them.
it's not it just for you
The
to start.
optics of a horseshoe stadium that's wide open on one end for a national team, and you can't even fill it. I'm sorry, bro. Y'all,
Yo,
whoever's doing the marketing, the the research on what stadium to pick, fire they ass because there's no way this is a good idea to have picked that stadium. I would have
bro,
picked
put it this way.
a
I just wanna
Galaxy Stadium would have been a better idea. The
yeah,
LAFC, they could. I don't know. I don't think the US has ever played in Portland. But that could have been an option if they really wanted to
yeah.
spread the wealth on that side of the country.
Honestly, that would be a place where you put you I mean, it's turf, so it's gonna be hard, but,
Well,
uh,
they would have laid the grass up.
yeah.
Laid the grass.
Next game for USA, that's at Q2, so they play in
Austin.
Austin.
That's a little bit more appropriate. That stadium
But
is
here
legitimate, it's proper. Let's see if they fill it up against Saudi Arabia.
that's the thing, like, you're in your own country,
Can't even
the
fill it.
tournament is
We're trying to fill up
knows.
MLS stadiums.
You're just
Think
trying to
about
fill
that.
MLS stadium at this point. You're not even filling up NFL size stadiums, and you're the
Jeez.
national team,
Yeah.
and you can't fill up in the tournament that's being hosted in your country, which I am big on. CONCACAF needs to get the Gold Cup to a different country for the next one. It cannot be
Yeah.
USA every single time.
It has to be different. The
Like that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as a soccer fan in this country. It's embarrassing. It should be embarrassing to all USA fans. Like your team in a tournament that is favored to get out of the group can't be placed in an NFL stadium because they know for a fact it won't sell out, and you're not even selling out the MLS stadiums that you're being put in. Bro, PayPal has to be one of the smallest stadiums in the country.
It might be either the smallest or the second smallest in the league.
Bro, I think there's NWSL stadiums that are larger than
Or about the
PayPal
same size. Yeah, it's
or
crazy.
about the same size.
Yo, speaking of which, I would have sent them to Louisville. Pack out that stadium.
Facts.
That women's team stadium in
Yeah.
Louisville. Pack out that stadium. Put them in Kansas City. You know, these are stadiums that they're small, but they're intimate, and it's like it's gonna be a better atmosphere. Like that was not it, man.
That's not. I know people who flew out there, like the office administrator. He's a big USA fan, so he follows the team. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when he kept telling me that he's gonna go to California, he's like, oh, I'm going to San Jose. I wasn't putting together Earthquake. In my head, I'm like, this is going to Levi. Why? Because it's fucking United States national team, and it's in a tournament. I did not until I saw the game, or I was like, put it this way, I didn't know the stadium for like maybe because I didn't see the beginning of it. I was looking at the game and I'm like, what stadium is this? Like, why is it like shaped like this? And then it hit me. Oh shit, you are fucking PayPal. Like this, bro. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Okay, the last game for the US, it's a doubleheader, single admission doubleheader game as well.
Yeah.
It's at AT&T Stadium. USA versus Haiti. The second game, which is crazy. DR versus Suriname. That stadium is not filling up, bro. It's 100,000 people.
Yeah.
There's no way they're selling out that stadium. The way this team is, the way it has zero buzz, bro.
There's nothing. And you went into the tournament with like on a down. Like, no, you can't tell me. The only thing you could tell me about America right now is drama and really drama. Like,
Yeah,
you're not even the talk of the tournament right now. DR is like
it's Austin. Yeah, in Austin.
Yeah,
bro. That Dallas game. Yeah, and you know what's the problem with that too? Having Dallas and Austin, the fans who are diehard USA fans might only be able to afford one of the two.
Yeah.
You know, because they're so close. They're only 3 hours apart from each other. You know,
the prices.
There's people who can only afford one of them because of the ticket pricing. They're gonna pick one or the other.
No, bro, but now, yo, bro. All right, just because we've definitely been here for a minute, and I want to get your take on this as well. Another thing that's happening at the same time as Gold Cup, because like we alluded to yesterday, FIFA and CONCACAF did not talk to each other, is the Club World Cup. And so that started the same weekend. So it started this past weekend as well.
Why?
Bro, I have no idea. This shit could have started in another couple weeks.
The Gold Cup could have been made another weekend.
Yeah, it's
one more week because it's a smaller tournament. It's only 16 teams, only 4 groups. It literally could have waited another weekend and then have. Oh my god!
It just again, the powers that be, bro. Fantino's out here putting his name on fucking everything and doing all these streams and trying to hype up this tournament. All right, my initial thoughts are, so I was gonna go to the PSG Atletico Madrid match on Sunday before my flight, but it was just too much of there's not enough time for me to make it from the stadium to the airport. So when I was looking up tickets for this, it wasn't full whatsoever. There's mad tickets available. I think about a lot of last minute acquisitions were made because they said like 80,000 people made it to that match.
82 or something like that.
Yeah.
That stadium holds almost 100, 90,
almost
93 or something like that.
Pretty much 100 at this point because you're going to pack in.
Yeah.
I want to say that was an outlier for what the Club World Cup is looking like it's going to be.
Hello, reigning Champions League champions. They don't usually come to the US like that.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid doesn't come to the US like that either.
And they had some big names that were playing. So
major outlier.
Major.
Also, the stadium is also a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Itself, the stadium itself, the Rose Bowl, it's a historic site. It's an American monument.
Yeah.
You know? So that's also plays a role in it too. Um, that was major outlier. There was the Miami Al Ali team, I think it's called,
Mm.
opening match at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. First off, didn't sell out.
They didn't at all. They were selling them like you getting like a package deal with your groceries at this point. They were just giving away
Bro,
tickets.
they were literally giving 4 packs for students for some college in the area for $20. 4 tickets for $20.
Look at that. Like,
You know,
and Miami being home, not even they didn't even get the home status. They got the away status.
they didn't even
And
get
the
the home
Egyptian,
support section.
yo, they didn't get any home supporter or away supporter section. It would be, I guess, at this point, or allotment
Yeah,
for the supporters. They didn't get any allotment, and they were outdone by the Egyptian team.
yeah.
That team, their fans came through. So like it it was such a weird visuals for the opening weekend of what's supposed to be this like quote unquote brand new version of this tournament that's supposed to be like, the stars of these clubs playing here. They you also had Chelsea playing LAFC
With
in
22,000
Atlanta.
people, 22,000 people supposedly at the stadium if it's like
Yeah.
65 or whatever.
At Mercedes Benz. Like it didn't look at locally
Right
here.
now,
We had
at at
Palmeiras was
Mel
playing.
against Porto,
Yeah.
the whole upper deck closed.
Closed. Nobody
The
saw, like, it was just
hard cam side, uh,
yeah.
not even open as well.
So
You know, it was, I think the attendance was listed at 42,000 or something like that,
roughly, yeah, something
or
like that.
36,000, something like that,
Yeah.
just over 50% of stadium capacity. Like, that is not great.
Yeah.
The game that just ended now, the Flamengo and the team from Morocco, the whole in Philadelphia, in the Eagle
Yeah.
Stadium, Lincoln Financial Field, the whole upper deck closed.
It's your it feels like FIFA
And
thought
and the
they were gonna the cash
yeah,
grab was gonna work, and people were legit like, "What do you think I was gonna do? Take off work to go watch two teams that I have no stake in just because I'm a soccer fan?" Like
the
like
the
we're not struggling to watch games here. Like it's not like we're desperate just to see a game. Like
the
there's so much stuff going on. Like our time is now valuable. Like you have to make
I
sure that
some of the games times are ridiculous.
crazy,
If this is how the World Cup's gonna be, it's
bro.
because I don't remember. Listen, bro, I was in Qatar for the World Cup. Them matches over there were at night, each and every one of them,
Yeah.
right? Why is there games scheduled for 12 in the afternoon in the summertime? You know? I
Yeah,
think Borussia Dortmund's games at 12 in the afternoon.
yeah. It's in the middle of the day. It's we have we had a conversation that got a lot of traction when that last time when it was Copa America,
The
right?
scheduling, I think, yeah.
When you were out there, where we were asking the questions like, if this is how Copa America is going, is this how the World Cup is going to be? Or like we were kind of like starting to get worried at that time from just the interactions of like that you were having with the stadium staff or like the rules that were getting put, the
Yeah.
timings that were being done, and that's just like that's just a little trinkle that we were having like the little hairs on our back of our head. Well, I don't have any, but that's a little different conversation. But like it was just worrying us, and now we're seeing it play out, and it's supposed to be a um like a practice tournament for
Yeah.
FIFA, and bro, it's not
The
looking
the
very happy.
the Bayern Munich Auckland FC match,
Yeah,
the 10-0, that was in a half empty Cincinnati FC stadium.
yeah. And Cincinnati has a huge like Ohio,
Germ German
huge German, yeah,
that part of America is big German
big
population.
German, bro. And you like that's Bayern Munich being probably the
The
number one
Yeah.
known team in Germany. That's not a draw. Why? Because people know they're gonna see that and they're gonna be like, man, that's gonna be a blowout.
the
Clearly.
the the Boca, Benfica match was the closest I've seen to full, but it wasn't full. This
Mhm.
game might have had less people than the Miami game, to be honest, because there was
It
sections that were in the second level that were unoccupied.
Yeah, I think what FIFA saw was like the ICC, that comes every for pregame for preseason, sorry, and they see that the stadiums fill up and people go crazy. Liverpool, whoever comes in. I think it's the mentality of it all comes into play. Like people know these are friendlies, that they're preseason. They're like, oh, we're never gonna see Liverpool play in America, kind of thing, right? Now that it's a competition, you're essentially fighting. You're just gonna get the fans of those clubs, like big name clubs. Like I want to say, you see, I would have said Chelsea, but Chelsea didn't get any draw,
Listen,
and the last like
tomorrow
so
Tuesday,
yeah.
at 12 noon in MetLife Stadium, Fluminense versus Dortmund. Tomorrow,
Yeah, who's going
at,
to that?
yeah, Fluminense. It's gonna be similar to today's the Porto Palmeiras match. It's only gonna be the first two levels probably.
Like, bro,
Also
kids
tomorrow
want
at 3, River Plate versus Urawa Reds. But that game's in Seattle, so that means it's 12 o'clock local time. Who's going to that game in the Northwest that are fans of River Plate and Urawa Reds? I don't even know what country Urawa Reds come
Oh,
from.
I think that's the thing. They're from Japan, if I remember correctly.
Japan, you're right.
Yeah, like, and they had a good travel squad, but it's not enough to fill these stadiums. I want to know what the basis for FIFA with prior Club World Cups was, that they thought that this would be smart. No one watches these games in person, bro. How many years when Seattle made the Club World Cup, right? When they made it through,
Went to I think they went to I forgot what country they went to. I think it
I
might have
think it
been
was in Qatar. I think when it was played. It was out there somewhere.
I don't think it was Qatar. I think it was the UAE,
I
Dubai.
know it was somewhere in the Middle East. It was
Yes, it
being
was the
held.
Middle East. I don't think it was Qatar.
Yeah,
But yeah, go
where it
ahead.
was, the old system. The
Yeah.
people who won the Champions League made the Club World Cup, and then you battle out amongst the six, whatever, 7 teams that make it. This setup where it's like how many teams is it? Like 40 something teams
No,
at this
for
point,
the club, no, it's 32.
32.
Yeah.
Like you have teams that are just like are one don't belong in this competition, and two, you're again, people were not even traveling to the prior Club World Cup. Why would they start traveling to this one? You're banking on like the American capitalism of it all, but then you're putting a national team competition at the same time. Like,
You're fighting
plus,
for stadiums, really?
yeah, and then you have games that just people are not gonna want to go to. You're a 10-0 Bayern versus Auckland made no fucking sense. Like you have top of their profession players playing the ultimate part-time like Sunday league kind of team. What do you think
Mhm.
is gonna happen? Like there's no miracle on ice with this competition. Like it's gonna be the
Oh,
same clubs
look
making it to the finals.
look at this game on Wednesday. I mean tomorrow, Tuesday night. Monterrey and Inter Milan. That could be a spicy attended game, but it's
Yeah.
at the Rose Bowl.
They're banking on that
On
Monterrey
the Me
fans are gonna, yeah.
Yeah, but it's at 6 o'clock local time.
But the thing is that here's the
Six
shit that
o'clock local time is ridiculous. How you
yeah.
can't get from work to get to Pasadena? That's like a trip, bro, from
Bro,
LA.
I am not like I just said, I was gonna go to that PSG Madrid match, but there's no way of like you gotta give yourself an hour to get there, hour to come back if you're staying low, like if you're gonna stay in a hotel around LA. But here's the thing though. Okay, 12 o'clock local, 6 it's gonna be 3 here. In Milan or in Italy, that's gonna be what, like
No,
I'm thinking about this like all the
it's
way.
not 9 o'clock here. It's gonna be 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning in Milan.
So you think like maybe obviously because they're a little bit more diehards, but you're solely banking on that Monterrey fans are going to make that trip in a time where nobody wants to come to this country. People locally already, they're not really big Monterrey fans in California like in LA anyways. LA is ruled by Club America and Chivas. Like those are the two teams that you're going to get. So potentially have some beef happen after outside because let's say Monterrey fans do come and somebody wants to just act crazy
The
and
12
then
o'clock
show up
start
with
times are not good, bro.
no, and then you have people, these players don't deal with the heat the same way That
Man
some
City
people
versus
do.
Wydad, the Moroccan team.
Yeah,
They at 12 o'clock noon on a Wednesday in Philly.
yeah, because they're trying to keep it like the timing to be reasonable for Europe so that they can watch the matches over there. But it's like, so no one cares for this competition.
Yeah, but no one's gonna go for two. Don't, and Nycfc is probably, you know it. Man City, no matter how big you think they are,
They're no,
I don't.
it's
They need a big opponent also to be
yeah,
able to fill
that
the football
that's not,
stadium
bro. When I went to
in America.
the Liverpool Man City match at MetLife for ICC one year, it was predominantly Liverpool. Like you're like Man City's a big name, but it's not. It's still supported as quote unquote as local as a big Premier League team could
Look,
be.
this is the most sensible game I've seen. Where the fuck is this team from? Let me figure out where this team's from. Al Nycfc. They're from Abu Dhabi
Yeah.
against Juventus in Audi Field. That's perfect
Perfect,
on a Wednesday
perfect,
night at 9 p.m.
perfect,
A little late,
but
but
perfect.
that you're gonna get even 15,000 people
Yeah,
will make that stadium look impactful.
yeah.
You know, that's a great location right there. You know, but some of these games, bro, I don't even know these two teams. I'm not even gonna look them up. Ulsan versus Mamelodi. They're gonna play it Inter Miami Stadium.
But no one's gonna be there.
No one's gonna be there.
No one's gonna be there, bro. Like this is not the competition where you highlight minnows. Like Club World Cup, the only way you qualify is through winning a competition.
The only
Like,
game that I see that's gonna be a sellout, Real Madrid versus Al Hilal
but that's because Madrid, bro. Like
at
it's just gonna be
Hard Rock Stadium. But Al
yeah,
Hilal, the Saudi teams,
yeah.
the Saudi fan, that's one of the biggest teams in Saudi Arabia. Um, that might
If you
have
go- that's gonna be Real Madrid, bro. You know that.
oh yeah,
That's gonna be
for
Real
sure.
Madrid.
But that's the only team
Yeah,
games.
it's just not a. This is not a competition that you do that. You know what I would have done if you had to like if I had to redo it. You got to get the continental champion, right? Whatever federation you're part of, UEFA, whatever, whoever won that Champions League, that's automatic bid. And then the and I'll say at that point, for Club World Cup, Europa, whatever the second tier team competition, right, within your federation, whoever wins that, it becomes like the second tier. So that all like you that's
Respectfully,
like 14,
why is Benfica here?
bro.
I don't think they've ever won a European trophy.
They're just the same reason like Barcelona's not here because apparently they're using the coefficient of
Yeah, but I think
however many years. It just
yeah.
makes no sense. Like the process
But
of
if
choosing
Benfica's
teams,
here as a legacy team, then Barcelona should have been here as a legacy team.
it's
Man United could have been here as a legacy team.
crazy. Like, dude, I don't understand. It's everything about this competition is such a money grab that everybody saw it and there's just no one wants to go to these. Like, I really do not care for this competition. As a Man City fan, I don't care for this
I
competition.
want the
Like,
European teams to dominate, just so uh I want the four semifinalists to be European teams, and I don't have no dog in this race.
yeah, I'm
And I want the and if I could get all quarterfinalists to be European, because this is I want them to be like, you know what, we can't do this again.
nah, bro. I'm trying not. Yeah. This needs to not happen again. Like, this needs to be a one and done competition,
Yeah.
bro. Like, to be there, but it's happening. So, um, I don't know.
Uh,
But
I still kind of stand by my initial pick. I feel that Chelsea might be a threat, and I wouldn't be surprised if PSG go
yeah, I
eat.
mean they're cooking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just don't see. I just on a competition basis, like I'm like, bro, this thing could. I'll be on my TV. I probably won't be watching. Is it what times? I'm not watching these matches.
yeah. It's
Like,
half the games are in working hours.
yeah, like I'm not taking lunch breaks to watch these matches. Like it's nah, not have. This isn't Europe, bro. Like we're not taking siesta. Like it is
But
what it is.
but if it was Champions League, you'll be watching it at work, right?
Exactly, bro.
Oh,
Nah, bro.
But I'm not missing. I'm not
Yeah.
dedicating time at work to watch this either.
No.
I will be when I get home, and depending on the game,
Yeah.
I will turn
Exactly.
it on.
Exactly.
I will not be turning on those 2 teams I mentioned that are playing Inter Miami game, Inter Miami Stadium. I will not be. No, they're playing at Orlando City Stadium, Inter and Co Stadium.
Yeah.
That's Orlando. They're playing there. I will not be turning that.
Yeah. No.
No.
Yeah. Nah, bro. But yo, I
Listen.
wanna. Yeah. I just want to say to the listeners, this will be a special episode covering kind of just Club World Cup and Gold Cup. We'll have another episode where we talk more about NYCFC because there's a lot of stuff going on in there as well. But we want to give that its own time. So keep on the lookout for that because it is getting kind of late and we've been going on for a little bit. So I just want
Yeah,
to be
and we
mindful
have
of both
time.
your time.
NYCFC, we have a break. Our next match is against Montreal in Montreal on the 28th.
Yeah.
So we have time to recap the last game, the Dyla's return.
Yeah.
The return of all the NYCFC academy players, which was
It was
pretty
fun.
cool to see.
Yep.
The return of El Rey Tati Castellano. We have a lot to recap about this game. The goal celebrations, the NYCFC Love Fest with Tati also. Like,
Yeah.
it was
It's a lot.
it was a little uncomfortable. I'm like, all right, guys, get it. He's the greatest of all time. Isla didn't get that love as much. He got one little post. But we have a lot of time. We have time to recap. There's too much soccer going on, and I felt like it was important. We felt like it was important to talk about your experience, Yousef, what's going on in the games. I think it's the first time there's 2 major tournaments going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's one of those summers where it's just like, and then we still got Leagues Cup that's coming through. So there's a lot of soccer to kind of like go over. We just want to give everything its proper time, especially because it's the opening weekend for both competitions as well.
Yeah. I probably would have felt a lot differently about the Club World Cup if we were participating in it.
For sure. Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
Imagine seeing a Club World Cup match at Yankee Stadium. That would have been
hilarious. I don't think
that would have been pretty cool, to be honest.
that wouldn't have happened though. But
Why
we
not?
do want to, because Yankee Stadium, it needs to be FIFA. It's not FIFA approved. We've gone through this before, bro. It's not approved for
the games are being played at was it SoFi?
They deem it appropriate for some
They're
reason.
the same size dimensions. It's the same dimensions.
One day, maybe. And if it happens again next year, maybe. After that, we have our own spot. But I do want to. There's one thing that NYCFC related that we do definitely want to highlight, and it's the supporters tournament.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So bam.
This Saturday, June 21st, the NYCFC supporters tournament is back. I think it took a hiatus last year or so, but it is back. 6-on-6 tournaments, all NYCFC fans. Barbecue Good Vibes. It's at 753 Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn. I guess you could say near Marcy Projects.
Yeah.
I guess is the good way to put it. It will be according to the flyer, there's gonna be a barbecue, good vibes, bring the drums, banners, and let's just have some fun. Yeah, this Saturday.
Yeah, these are always fun times. Even if you're not playing, just show up. They get competitive.
They do get competitive.
They get competitive.
There was this one year where I
mean,
my medals winner. My medals.
Yeah. All I know is there was a year that
in the background. My medals winner. That year, reigning champion. Champion here. Excuse me, guys.
There's a year.
I'm pretty surprised. I almost ended Rodrigo's Vecido's career that year.
Yeah, we've seen there've been some injuries.
50-50 ball, shoulder to shoulder. You know what I mean? It's what we doing here? You know
and this is played on canchitas, like the flat. I mean the black top, right?
On hard top.
On hard top, black top.
Outdoors.
Yeah. So tackles is just, you getting scraped. But now, man, pull up is
right, guys.
Yeah, they're fun. It's a fun time. So if you're listening to this, if you made it this far, and you're still listening to this, like, make it out to the match. And let us know in the comments what you think about. I want to know your thoughts on the Club World Cup and If they are different than ours, if they're the same as ours, by all means have the discussion.
And if you guys want us to keep talking about it.
Yeah, because we were wrestling with the like, should we even cover this tournament? Because it has nothing to do with NYCFC related, but it's still a tournament happening around us. So let us know. Summer soccer officially started, and it is, it's like from all angles at this point. But with that, Sanchez, I want to bid you adieu. And I say everybody out there, again, like, subscribe, all that extra jazz. Thank you for sticking with us. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Nos vemos.